Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people of all ages, thank you for tuning and listening to our Chicagoland Czech American Community Podcast. This is the CCACC coming to you live from Berwyn. Special thanks to the Czech Foreign Ministry and our Consul General of the Czech Republic, Jaroslav Kuntarek. We are saying hello to all of our listeners from Texas, New York, Florida, North and South Dakota, Iowa, Missouri, Ohio, Nebraska, California, and the great state of Illinois. Wait, and there's more. A great big hello to Czech Republic, New Zealand, Canada, United Kingdom, Cyprus, India, Sweden, and Australia. Sitting in here with me, co-hosting, is the one and only Radka Kultalkova.
Hello, dobrý den.
Also sitting in the big chair, controlling all the dials, Chlupatý pán Johnny B.B. Fraud.
Hello.
Hello again to all, and guys, I got to tell you, we have another great special here. We have some really iconic members from the community, and I would like to hand the mic over to my wonderful co-host and beautiful Radka.
So it is my honor today to do the introduction. Today we will be talking to one of the most influential, I would say, iconic families here, especially in the Sokol arena, the Dropka. So today in studio with us is Mike. Mike Dropka, welcome.
Hello.
And on the phone, we have his mom, Missy Dropka, and his grandma, Bobby Mildred Mentzer.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yay, hello.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Radka, real quick, I got to ask you, how much did Mike Dropka pay you to say such what a wonderful thing about him?
I cannot tell you that.
Ladies and gentlemen, real quick, I'm kind of excited on this with the family. They're really a wonderful group of people. They have really gave their whole entire life to Sokol and the Czech culture, and always putting their foot forward. Michael's like a brother. Sometimes I really want to punch him in the face, just like a brother, and I guarantee he has the same exact feelings. Michael, you're supposed to have the mic by you. Bobby, I gotta say I love you. I have nothing but respect. And Missy, you are a beautiful, beautiful lady. So, guys, welcome to our show tonight.
Thank you.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Well, just like always, we always start off our show with one or two shots here. And we're having a couple glasses of wine. And obviously, John's not going to do much talking. But I'd like to start it off with a quick question for Bubby. Can you give me a little background on Bubby and how she got involved with the community?
Well, by being brought up in a Czech home and participating in Czech activities, like at Sokol and at the Czech school that I attended. That's about it.
Bobby, which Czech school did you go to?
I don't even know if they had a name for it. It was just a school in the neighborhood, and my folks enrolled me in it. And we went there on a Saturday all day, and Sunday morning.
Now,
okay,
that's the same kind of schedule that I have, and I had, and it's the same schedule that Radka's kids have. So my next question is that you grew up here, and you obviously you speak fluent Czech, don't you?
Yes, I do.
And Radka, would you like to test your tongue out for this?
Jak se máš, Bobby?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. Nazdar.
Máš se dobře. Dobře, super.
So, Bubby, I know that you are absolutely, absolutely perfect, and I just want to bring it up. How young are you?
How old am I?
Well, if you want to go,
Young.
if
How
you
young are
how young are you? But if you want to go with old, you could go with that. But I would like to ask you, how young are you,
How old am I? 100?
guys? Do you hear that?
100?
That is absolute. Now, can I ask you a quick question? I know that you have a beautiful family, and they've done a lot with you. And what kind of lifestyle? I mean, you've seen so much change in your life. Do you consider Sokol getting you to this point of your life, that healthy, sound body and sound mind? What do you contribute to this wonderful 100 years of your life?
Clean living.
Clean, so no drinking.
No, not too much of that.
Well,
Not too much thing.
your grandson does enough for you, so don't worry about that. He's sitting here smiling and laughing. You could jump in here anytime you want, man. That's okay. Missy, real quick, you have such an iconic mom, and you have you've always been a staple in the community. How did you get? I mean, can you talk about how you got involved with the Czech community?
Well, my mom and dad, aside from being part of Sokol, were also part of CSA. So we would never have a babysitter. We always went to CSA meetings and CSA picnics and CSA district council. So we were always part of, my brother and I, we were always part of doing things with the Czech community.
Okay.
By the time I was Sokol, they went to Sokol Town of Lake, which was at 47th and Henry in the city. And of course the neighborhood was changing, and all of the young adults who were now 40 and 50 years old were moving out of the community. And so they decided to remain a social club, and they sold the gym. So I remember being at Sokol Hall very few times, but I do remember parts of it, like where the coat room was, where the kitchen was, and pulling on the coattails of somebody that I thought was my uncle.
Oh,
and that's
nice.
about all I remember.
That's it.
That's about all I remember, because I think that the building was down when I was 4 years old.
Mike,
right? Was it 1962?
I don't know.
I think it came down in 1962.
1962 or 52?
60.
62.
Thanks a lot. You just made me 10 years older.
I can never.
Give it to Teddy
Mike,
to make you feel special.
I can never.
My God.
Michael, this question's for you, real quick, because I'm sorry, Missy, I love you to death. You know, I think you're an absolutely beautiful and sexy lady. Matter of fact, guys, the joke is that. Oh, I'm going to stop.
Yeah, you are sliding.
Mike, and this is I'm going to be calling you Mike during the show. Can you explain to our listeners what CSA is, so people understand? Because your mom just brought it up. What CSA is?
So CSA is the Czechoslovak Society of America. It's a fraternal insurance company, and it's nationwide. It started off as CSPS, and it was really nationwide. But then, due to insurance changes and laws and stuff, the organization splintered into factions. So in Texas, you have SPJST. In the more western half of the country, you have Western Fraternal Life. But they all used to be a part of, and there's other units and sects that formed, but they all used to be part of CSPS at one time. And so that's what CSA is. And they, my grandmother was very much involved in that, and Sokol Tana Lake, she was very much a part of that as well.
Missy and Bubby, did he get that right?
So, can I say something a minute?
Yeah, sure.
So at my mom's 100th birthday party, Sokol presented my mom with a plaque, and they named October 2nd, 2022 as Sister Mildred Mentzer Day because she has been a member of Sokol for 83 years.
God
Wow.
She
bless.
has been a member. She has been a member of CSA for 86 years.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That is,
I hope I live that long. To-
that is just, when you really start thinking of those numbers, you're like, wow. Really, truly, that's amazing. And if you really think about, the amount of hours you, Missy, your mom, and your son have truly donated to the community, and if you just put just a dollar to every hour that you guys have contributed to preserving everything, and you received payment for it, you guys would be quite wealthy.
Mike is counting here. I can see that. It's going through his head.
Mike's like, you're
How
right,
many
yeah.
zeros? How many zeros?
Who can I submit this bill to? Bubby, real quick, I just wanted to say I want to give acknowledgement to your husband. When I became a vice president for Sokol Tabor, your husband was vice president for Sokol Town of Lake. President. No, but that's when
he was president of Sokol Town of Lake. He was the first vice president of the Central District.
Well, but he went to the vice president's meetings.
Correct.
Okay, well, thank you for correcting me so quickly. Boy, you should see how quickly he jumped on that microphone over here, guys. But I just wanted to say, I was 17 years old, and I was going into a room of Titans of Sokol. And if anybody knows anything about Sokol in Chicago, boy, you're stepping on some major egos. But
Never.
I got to tell you, your husband pulled me aside and took me under his wing. And every meeting was so polite and so guiding and supportive, saying, bring change. We need new ideas. It was truly, truly amazing. Your husband was just a wonderful man. So I just want to say thank you. And it was such an honor.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Bubby, so can I ask you a quick question? Which Sokol did you belong to before Town of Lake?
There was no other one before Town of Lake.
So you always
Town of
been
Lake, a member of Town of Lake up until the time that Sokol Berwin-Slawski came into
The Sokol Slawski first at Piper School.
Oh, okay.
And that was in the 1980s. She joined classes at Sokol Slawski at Piper School.
Okay.
And she was going to the senior co-ed class with Ed and Ann Hully.
Oh.
And then she had already been going, and then Michael was born, and Michael was eligible to join class as a tot. I was still not a member myself.
And what?
Because
Missy, why?
of Sokol.
And why?
What?
Why is that?
Well, because Sokol Town of Lake didn't have
Class.
a gym program.
Oh.
And as a 20-year-old, the social club didn't really exist for any of the kids.
Okay.
So I was not a member of Sokol Town of Lake. But Michael became a member, started going to classes at Sokol Slawski, and then I joined as a parent, and then I started going to classes, and then Slawski went to the church on 34th and Grove, and then they merged with Sokol Berwin, and so she was going to classes there, and then, of course, became part of Sokol Spirit.
Gotcha.
So I remember early on, to piggyback on this, we used to do the Sokol Slawski and Sokol Berwin-Slawski exhibitions at Old Morton East High School, and I started doing the Senior 2 co-ed cal because Grandma and my mom were in the Senior 2 co-ed class. So I started doing the Senior 2 co-ed cal in addition to the men's cal, so that I could drill on the floor with my mom and my grandma and have 3 generations doing the cal on the floor at the same time. Another interesting note I did want to point out is that at a very early age, when I was learning about Sokol, I remember sitting at my mom's kitchen table, and I asked because I realized, came to the realization that my grandfather was the president of Sokoltana Lake. And so I questioned as to why I'm not a member of Sokoltana Lake and why I go to Sokolslavsky. And the reasoning, I remember this very vividly, is the reasoning was that Sokoltana Lake didn't have any gym programs, to which then I kept asking questions because I'm a young kid. So I kept asking questions as to, well, why? And, I want to join. And the answer was, well, you should join a different Sokol because Sokoltana Lake is just a social type of unit. And, we're never really going to be coming back to a physical program. And, that, I don't know what spurred that, if that always stayed in my mind, but, I became president of Sokoltana Lake probably back in 2010, 2009, somewhere 2008, something like that. And we actually, I'm happy to report that Sokoltana Lake was the first unit to reactivate itself and start having gym programs again. We did do that.
That's awesome.
For 2 years. Unfortunately, it's a lot to do.
Sure.
But we were the only unit to, come away from physical activity and offer physical activity again and reactivate itself, and I was very proud of that. But
maybe you could when you find the time. He's shaking his head. Mike and Radka and John, we all know how to talk each other into do more work for some apparent reason.
Yeah, in the spare time, I always call it.
Yeah.
Right, Mike?
This question is for Bubby. Bubby, I know that you have traveled to Czech Republic numerous times. Can I ask you, what were the reasons that you went there, and what years did you go?
To visit my mother's family, because my father's family was not existent anymore. And so I went to visit my mother's family, and we stayed with them.
And where was that? Where was that at in Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia at the time?
Oh gosh,
Hořovice. It's about 40 kilometers southeast of Prague.
Gotcha. Oh, that's
And
pretty close.
The first time we went was in 1974.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, did you? Now, obviously, you guys went to Czech Republic for sled, also.
Right.
And which
That was in 2000.
2000.
We participated in the Sokol activities from here, from United States.
Bobby, did you now? Real quick question. Did you perform? Did you march in the parade in Prague, or did you do Cal?
I don't remember marching in the parade.
Yeah, we did.
Misty says I did.
Grandma, you were national. She was national. My grandmother was national secretary for the American Sokol Organization, so she worked out of the office on Cermak Road in Ridgeland.
Right.
And in the year 2000, she was transitioning out of being national secretary, and Randalishka was going to take your place. And so we went to the Prague Slut in 2000, and that was right on the cusp of the convention, the ASO convention.
Gotcha.
But she was national. You were national secretary for I don't I don't recall how many years, but she was national secretary for the ASO for a long time.
Let's kind of, I want to, real quick, I want to pull the reins in real quick about Sokol. But what, I mean, so I know what positions that she held with American Sokol. What positions did she hold with CSA?
With CSA, I didn't have a position with CSA directly. I was with one of the lodges that belongs to CSA,
Okay.
which was Woodrow Wilson,
And the degree staff.
and the Woodrow Wilson degree staff,
Okay.
which is comprised of all ladies.
And district council.
Yeah,
District council president.
District
council president. Yeah,
And also cultural division president.
Now, as far as CSA goes, I know you guys do. You guys have a publication. I know the magazine comes out, and you guys have events. Don't you guys have some bowling event every year, or do you guys have a pageant? Missy, do you want to talk about that?
Well, they have a Miss CSA pageant every 4 years, and that's in conjunction. I'm sorry, every year. That's in conjunction with the get together, and that's the first weekend, and usually the first weekend in August every year. Their convention is every 4 years, and they just had their quadrennial convention this past August.
Now, where is this? Where was it at?
It was here every 4 years. It's usually here in Chicago because, before there was the age of computers and electronic files, there was a considerable amount of paperwork that had to be transferred from the home office to the hotel that was hosting the convention. So they physically had to move that paper
Okay.
and copies and all that kind of stuff. So it has remained, aside from 1 year when I think it was held in Pittsburgh, the convention, they decided to not do that anymore and just keep the convention here in Chicago every 4 years, or Chicago area.
Gotcha.
I have to ask though, before we go to the break, can you explain to people that have never heard of this organization, is this a CSA organization that anybody can join? Are you guys taking new members?
Anybody can join. You purchase a life insurance or an annuity policy. You purchase it for your children, you purchase it for yourself, and you become a member of a lodge. You can either become a member of a lodge that people are in, so you know people. Your lodge meetings usually have a meeting once a month and do their own lodge activity.
So what kind of
And so
activity? So let's say that you would talk to me, right? Like, me, I have 2 kids, under 10 years old. So what could we look forward to, or what do you offer to young families, especially?
The CSA has they hold a junior bowlerama every year, usually in March or April, and it's a national bowling tournament. But not everybody comes here. The district councils of every state or every region, right? They organize a place where they're going to hold this bowling tournament for children. And then they sign up and they go there on a Sunday and they bowl. Now, of course, because people aren't in small communities anymore, they have made arrangements so that you could be in Nevada and go to a bowling alley and have your children bowl, and then turn in your receipt to your lodge and be reimbursed for that.
Okay.
And then they can win prizes for their participation.
Okay, that sounds really great. A little complicated, but I'm not gonna lie. But you know what I'm thinking? Maybe we can include some information with this episode. Like Mike can provide links and places for people to go and learn more, just to understand this better.
Well, it's also so the CSA is is a fraternal organization, so you don't necessarily need to participate in the activities.
Okay.
Everybody wants to buy life insurance. So
Right.
you could buy a life insurance policy from CSA Fraternal Life, participate in no activities. The activities are an extra benefit. Okay. So you want to buy a life insurance policy for your child? That CSA is a viable option. You want to buy an annuity? You could you could go to New York Life, you could go to MetLife, you could go to any other life insurance policy, a life insurance company out there. But if you go to CSA and you buy a life insurance policy or an annuity, an extra benefit is joining an actual lodge and making friends and going to the meetings or participating in the golf outings or participate in the Bolorama or doing all this stuff. You can put your money to a life insurance policy with New York Life. That's fine, so be it. But if you put your money to CSA and take out a life insurance policy with them, you have the extra benefit of check-based activities.
Gotcha.
That's cool.
Guys,
CSA is actually the oldest fraternal benefit society in America, and it started in St. Louis in 1854.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
wow. See? Once again, another staple.
That's fantastic. So then we will put links and things, more information about this for people that want to
On our
learn
Facebook,
or
yeah.
join or buy the
Michael Dropka, I'm
life
going to need that
insurance.
information. I'm going to need you to send me those links, and then we'll get that posted when we do this. Guys, this is going to be part of our Thanksgiving special, even though it's going to come out a little bit after Thanksgiving, but we're still, you guys, I just took my hat off. I had a big turkey hat on, but we're going to take a quick break. Ratka, what are we going to be listening to while we take this real quick break?
Hot from the press today is Moravanka, and we are going to listen to a polka for a change.
Beautiful. Guys, sit back and enjoy, and we'll be right back. Hey, I hope you guys loved that tune because that was definitely a knee slapper for me because I can never get enough of polka. Mike, am I wrong or right or wrong on that?
That is correct. You have your record collection because of me. Thank you.
Yes, correct. And we'll talk about your record collection later. Missy and Bubby, you guys hear us?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. Guys, we have a couple more questions, actually a lot more questions. One of the things that, on a funny side of things, Bubby, with your grandson, real quick, did you ever want to like beat him more when he was younger, when he was a little child?
Did you ever want to be what?
Beat Michael. And if not, why not? Because he needed it.
Did you want to what with Michael?
Beat him. Spank him.
Beat him. Did you ever want to spank him?
No, why would I want to do that? He had a mother and father for that.
Well,
Perfect. Perfectly said, Bubby.
Missy, then all the attention comes to you. Why don't you not beat your son more?
Oh, I think I was a good parent.
Oh, I know you're an angel. You've always been an angel. That's it. It's just that I love your son. He's a good guy. I just like to bust his cookies over here. Well, while we're talking about history and everything, Bubby, do you have any other family? Did you have a brother and sister? But I already know this question or the answer to this. So, Bubby, can you talk about your family?
Well, I was a sister to an older lady. She was a year and a half older than I was, and but she wasn't as involved in CSA and Sokol activities as I was. She married quite early, and so she kind of assumed her husband's way of life, and didn't really participate in CSA or Sokol activities. So, okay.
Did you? No, that's absolutely fine. A lot of family members have different people that absolutely get involved with the community, and then other members just really don't because of other life changes and stuff like that. Now, Bubby, real quick, and this is for Missy and Mike Dropka. I actually want all three of you to answer this. Were you guys involved with any of the dance groups that were involved in Chicago, the cultural dance groups?
My mom only danced with Sokol, the best at Sokol Slut.
Got you. And Missy?
I joined MCS dance group after Michael did.
After Michael? How did you find MCS and how did you guys get involved with all that?
So I got involved in MCS because when Sokol Slavsky merged with Sokol Brownslavsky, many of the Sokol members of Sokol Brownslavsky were a part of MCS, like Fred Kala, for example,
Correct.
Mark and Mary Novak, and so they're all a part of MCS, and so they, after hanging out with them, they introduced me to MCS, and I kind of jumped on board and started going to MCS.
Gotcha.
So then my mom, said, "Hey, let's do it together." And so that was all cool. And so so we participated in MCS together.
Actually, I probably had a little bit of affiliation with MCS before that because my brother and I also went to Czech school.
Okay.
We went to Czech school at Berwyn, Sokol Berwyn. And Marie Knez was the teacher. And Marie Knez, for years and years, was in charge of or running the Christmas Around the World pageant at Museum of Science and Industry.
Okay.
And she was I don't know if she was part of MCS or if just the affiliation with Sokol Berwyn, but when she ran the pageant, when she ran the show and decorating the tree at the Museum of Science and Industry for Christmas Around the World, she had the kids from the language class participate in dancing and singing and the little play describing the Czech customs. And she also had MCS dancers in her little show.
Gotcha.
Whatever, about the Czech customs. So, I guess I was always a part of it without really being part of it.
Yeah.
Because I was, the Prittisels were in it, the Menchiks were in it, and those are the people that are in MCS. So,
sure.
Anyway.
And interesting fun fact. Yeah. Interesting.
And that, by the way, is how I met my husband.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. See, yeah, and I was like, my mom is going to talk to me about it later, but they met at Christmas Around the World at the Science and Industry Museum.
Ooh, how romantic!
But how and why and what did your father do?
It's my life. I can tell.
Okay.
Get him, Missy. Get him.
Tell us.
So on November 30th, 1974, I met my husband at the Museum of Science and Industry. We were dancing at Christmas Around the World. I was dancing, part of the dance group at Christmas Around the World. And there were some people in the group that were, I was 16 years old and, I wasn't a part of the group because we lived on the far south side of Chicago. So for me to get to Berwyn was hard to do on a weekly basis, But anyway, so
is this going?
Yes, it's going.
It's going.
So I did not really have a close friendship with the people in the group. I mean, we were classmates in Czech school, and that's about it. Well, I was in tears because of something that happened during the dance and blah, blah, blah. And my husband started talking to me because he felt sorry for the girl. He felt sorry for the girl with the skirt and the legs. And I just used his shoulder to cry on. I had no idea that he was playing the accordion so we could dance to live music at Christmas Around the World. And he was a friend, same people that I was having a problem with. So that was kind of,
life can be interesting, right? It's amazing how it all
was
works
very
out.
Very interesting.
And ladies and gentlemen, Missy just proved to you if you play the accordion, you could get any beautiful woman you can look at. So that's, I'm going to start playing the accordion tomorrow, Missy. So
I think you have a beautiful
You
woman.
have a beautiful woman already. Cut it out.
You don't need to play the accordion.
oh well, I'll start.
Well, I think that only saved us all.
Radka saw my attempt a couple times at me playing the accordion. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, it was still in the box, and even like that, it was awful. So,
yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
I would like to ask Bobby. Bobby, where did you grow up? What neighborhood? How was it growing up 100 years ago? It just seems almost unreal, even just to ask this question.
Where did you grow up, and how was it growing up 100 years ago?
I grew up on the south side of Chicago.
Where?
Where? It's
51st.
51st and Damon. I lived in a 3-story, the top floor of a 3-story house, and got involved in Focal Town of Lake activities through some girlfriends that we had in the neighborhood, and we all went to Focal together and remained friends throughout our lives. Really, that's about it.
And then they went to school together too, because everybody was there in the neighborhood, which is
Was
not what really happens now.
Bobby, was how heavy was the community, like speaking Czech, or how was it like?
Oh,
How Czech was the community?
I would say maybe about 35 to 50%.
Wow, that's
That's
pretty good.
Pretty. I mean, there's a lot of Czechs. I mean, Chicago, if anybody doesn't know, at one time, Chicago had the highest percentage of Czechs living here next to Vienna and Prague. I mean, that's how many Czechs were in Chicago.
Oh, that brings me. Bobby, did you teach your children Czech language at all? Can they say anything in Czech?
Yeah, we not really taught. I mean, they just picked it up for the conversation with my folks. With my folks and I talk Czech, of course, all the time, and so they picked up some of the language and understood most of what was going on.
We understood a lot more, Russia, than we would say. Like when we went in 1974, I was 16 and my brother was 14. And we had been going to Czech school because my mother and dad sent us so that we could understand things when we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do most of the understanding, and my brother would not be hesitant to put words together and try to converse.
Oh,
Bobby, here's another question for you. Just before we're going to do a real quick shot here. Nazdraví. We're all going to do another shot of honey sliv over here. But for Bobby, well, you and Missy, you guys were talking about her parents. Were they also involved in Sokol or any other organization, or how did you guys? Or what did they do? What was their role in the community?
What did your mom and dad do in the community? What is it?
Nothing. They were very just lived there. They didn't get involved in activities at all. They were just in the background.
My grandfather was a tailor, and my grandmother was a homemaker.
I was just about to ask. Just about to ask.
They didn't go to church. They didn't go. I mean, they talked with their relatives. My grandfather had some brother and a sister that lived here. My grandmother had no one else that lived here, so
Okay.
it was just Czech ladies and men in the community that might have lived next door or in the same building. But they really didn't. They really kept to themselves.
so what year did your family actually came to United States? Because if Bobby's parents were they born here, or were they born in Czech?
No, they were born there. My grandfather came in 1918, and he wanted to help fight in World War I.
Mm-hmm.
But because he had come here and he wasn't a citizen yet, he actually couldn't fight with the United States. So he went to Canada and joined the French Army.
Wow.
And-
okay.
And fought in World War I with the Allies, but in the French Army. And then my grandmother came in 1920, and then they got married right away. They got married in 1920, and then my aunt was born in 1921 in May, and my mom was born in September of 22. My grandparents got married in April of 20.
Wow.
Right after the war.
Missy, if I could pull this real quick back towards you. You were talking about your husband and how you met the Lawrence Welk of Berwyn and Cicero, playing the accordion. But your husband had a special place in my heart, and because he shared the same occupation as I did. You want to talk about your husband real quick, and so give him a
We were talking.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't do that.
Well,
He was a very he was a very sensitive man, although you'd never gather that. He had a very hard exterior. He was a great husband. He was a great guy. He was a fantastic father, and he provided wealth for us. I was able to stay home and not go to work as a young mother. I didn't go to work until after Michael was 10 years old. So I really treasure the fact that I was able to be a stay-at-home mom.
How long did he? How long did he play in this band for? And what was his name of his band?
The name of the band was Champagne.
Okay.
But I'm trying to remember when he was actually part of the band, because we got married in '79, but they were already playing dates. But yet he was playing on his own just because he liked to play the accordion when I met him in '74. So somewhere between '74 and maybe '77, they started this band, and it was the name Champagne.
Gotcha.
So it was Joe Perdisel, John Perdissel's brother, and it was Tom Tower. He was a policeman that Carl knew from the village. They weren't the same age. Tommy was a little bit younger than Carl.
Okay.
But he played the drums. And we would usually practice they would usually practice at our house.
Oh.
But then when I had Michael, then they would practice at Joe and Sue's house in Westchester, because they didn't have any children.
And they used to play at the CAC picnics.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
They used to play CAC picnics. They used to do a lot of weddings and anniversary parties. They really were very busy playing. And then Joe wanted to play a little bit different style of music, like he played the trumpet, and he wanted to play a little bit more jazz or blues or something. And so, and then Tom Tower has 3 children, and I think that just childhood activities got in the way. And then, of course, everybody was starting to use DJs, so they didn't really have much.
Yeah, DJ was the death of polkas, but in my eyes, you can never go wrong with a good old polka. Right, Michael?
Right. And a little add-on to this is, my dad really didn't get involved in the Czech organizations like we did. And I do have a funny story. And
does it real quick? Does it involve with your father beating you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it doesn't.
I don't want to hear it then.
It is a good story, and brother Paul LeBlanc, who I know that you had on a previous
last week,
a previous show. So brother Paul and my dad knew each other.
Okay.
They used to work out together at the health club.
Okay.
And so one day, my dad comes into the locker room, and he's swearing up and down and just very upset. And brother Paul's like, well, what? And this is 1987. Now, brother Paul is the national men's director for American Soccer Organization at the time.
Real quick, so everybody understands how old you are. That you were what?
I am 38.
You were 20.
I was born in 1984, so I was 3 years old.
Oh, you're full of shit. You were 20 years old at 84.
No, I was 3 years old. So this is the point of the story. You're skipping ahead. But brother Paul was the national men's director for the American Soccer Organization at the time. My dad had no idea, but so. He's in the locker room at the health club, and he's swearing up and down about this and that. My mother-in-law and my wife want to get my son involved in some Czech group, and they're wearing these short red shorts, and and it was a TOTS class uniform.
It is. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm laughing because I can
It's a-
absolutely understand his
and
point.
and what is this nonsense and blah blah blah, and he's just spouting off in the locker room. And Paul was listening to all this and just because he was venting. Okay, so fast forward then 8 months, because now it's the Sokol unit exhibition,
Okay.
and I had obviously joined, right?
Got your little red.
And my dad was sitting in the audience, and who was on the floor, but they announce all these national and district officers. And so they announce, well, Brother Paul LeBlanc is the national physical director for the entire American Sokol organization. And after the performance, my dad came up to him and said, I had no idea. I am so sorry. I was venting in the workout room.
Did he say, I'm sorry, I didn't know you owned one of those little red shorts?
Real quick, before Missy and Bobby, before we get to the fun part of our interview, which is we're going to ask a series of questions, and we're going to start a new tradition here. We're going to start off with you guys with the trivia. But real quick, Mike Dropka, you have, and now I'm pretty proud of my collection, but a lot of it has to do with you. You have one hell of a record collection, probably the best in Chicago. Do explain on your desire and your passion for the polkas, which I absolutely love and share.
Cannot believe this.
Yes, I finally got a polka guy with me.
I have about 5,000 LPs.
Did you hear that? 5,000 LPs.
So when did you start collecting?
That does not include the
5,000 records.
Those are the LPs. Those are the 33 and a thirds. Those are not the more thicker albums, and
Sure.
those have to be played on an old school machine. I haven't counted those, but I have a lot of those as well. Bottom line is, people needed to die for me to have
so
those
wonderful.
records.
Way to
I go to
add-
estate sales. What do you want me to say?
Way to add such a positive
Well,
twist to this.
that's the truth.
You know, you have to literally look at the Czech guy to get a good deal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to an end to our interview, and we always end our interviews with some fun questions. So all these questions are for all three of you. So for Bubby and Missy and Michael, we ask, do you guys prefer pivo or vino? Beer or wine? And if,
Beer or wine? Do you like beer or wine?
Nothing really, but wine probably.
wine, there you
My
go.
mom's wine. I'm a wine.
You're a wine, and are you a red or white?
Red or white?
Red.
Red.
How about pink?
Hop. And Missy,
I like pink.
you like pink, okay. And the gentleman sitting to the right of me in the studio, what do you like?
Red wine.
Red wine. I thought you was just anything that's wet. That's what for sure. Okay, so we all know the polka question for Mike Dropka here, but we all, Missy and Bubby, do we listen to polkas on our days off? Silence.
I used to enjoy. My mom doesn't. She doesn't really listen to the radio or the records or anything. I used to love to listen to the Czech radio show on Sunday mornings. When I started listening to it, of course, it
Okay.
was Lou Collard. It was
Who was that again?
Lou Collard.
Okay.
Fuzzy. Yes.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to make sure that.
Luke Kolarek was the national secretary for the CSA life insurance organization, and the Bohemian. This is pre Jerry Girock. It was Luke Kolarek was the MC for years and years and years.
Uh-huh.
So there's a Czech radio, correct?
Correct. It
Right.
was hosted by the Bohemian National Cemetery and CSA Fraternal Life. And before Jerry Girock, it was Luke Clark.
Right. So I will listen to CDs
Beautiful.
with
So
polkas.
you keep the tradition going. So we will continue with our questions.
Ooh, I get to ask the next question. Do you guys like to drink Becher, who is the official sponsor of our podcast? And we thank you, Becher. As always. Missy, do you like Becher? Becherovka?
I like what?
Bekarovka.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes, I really like it a lot.
Ooh.
I prefer that over the Sliv.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. And Bubby?
Do you like Becker or Sliv?
I can't say either one.
See, that's why you were 100. That's the reason you're 100 years old. That's amazing. What about Mike? What about you?
I like the Bekarovka. My wife prefers the Sliv, though.
Oh.
There you go. There you go. Well, Mr. Johnny B.B. Fran, can we get a little drum roll? Because we're going to start something new here. We're going to start a trivia.
I'm going to have to go because
Okay.
the visiting hours are over.
No, not a problem. We love you. Thank you guys very much for being
Thank
part
you.
of the CCACC podcast.
Thank
And
you
Sorry,
so
I hope
much.
I hope I didn't ruin anything
No,
for you.
no,
Actually,
stop.
it's perfect. We'll drill Mike
Yes.
in our trivia
But
now.
please
So
get-
actually,
please-
perfect timing.
Please give Bubby a big kiss and hug for me. I miss
Okay.
her, and I promise I'll come and see her soon.
Okay, I will give her that big hug and kiss.
And happy
And he
birthday,
will come and
right? Happy
Bill.
birthday.
Yes. Happy belated birthday.
well, happy birthday. Russia says happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Okay, hopefully
Thank you.
hopefully your son does this well, because a bottle of wine, Czech wine, is on the line here. If he messes this up, I smash it over his head. So, but I love you guys. Thank you very much again. So we're going to go into the trivia, guys. Nazdar, and I love you guys. Thank you very much. So I really
We love you,
appreciate.
Teddy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bubby, it's such an honor to have you on our show. Thank you so much, both of you guys, for making time for us.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Papa.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So we got, so all lights are on you. Do you feel the heat?
No, I
No?
don't.
No?
Well, actually, from this thing.
Yeah.
There is a heater sitting next to him on the ground.
Okay. So we have 3 simple questions for you, and I hope you don't fart this up, because if you do, we kick you in right in the cookies. But Radka, would you like to ask the first question? No, she's shaking her head no.
Must be a good one.
Okay, I'm gonna. So.
Or ask anything you want.
Well,
Ask it.
I actually. So Teddy picked this question to be a part of trivia. So let's see how far we get with this one. The word robot comes from the Czech language, which I never knew to this day. Can you guess what word that could be?
Ooh. John, you gotta get that do 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 do.
No, I'll make it easy. I have no idea because I really don't speak Czech. So
Oh,
All right, so neither obviously. Nah, it seems like I don't either. Yeah, because so it comes from the word robot. So robot, which means in Czech, robota was an old-fashioned kind of word, I would say, used long time ago, hundreds of years ago, for working fields and working hard. Robota, which means you worked for someone, of course, right? Like you would have a guy in the castle who would own the land, and you would work for them. So that would equal as a robota, which you work as a robot, I guess. So thank you, Teddy, for
you're
teaching us
welcome.
a new
So
word.
I learned a little bit of something there too, guys. I got to tell you, that was pretty educational. So, Radka, you're one hell of a teacher there. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is a new tradition that we're starting here. And so, Michael Dropka, for your second question. Your manhood depends on this. The sugar cube was invented where?
I'm gonna guess Czech Republic.
Ooh,
Just on an offshoot here.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, he got it right, and Johnny B is not paying attention. He's supposed to. There you go.
Playing Minecraft on his
There
phone.
you go. Here you go.
Hey, I have a question
But
for
hold
you.
on, hold on.
Do you have sugar cubes in this house?
I just used them all. The funny thing that you just asked about that I just used it all last week.
Because I don't think you can find sugar cubes at the store anymore.
Why do you say that?
No, try going to Jewel's.
Oh, it's funny you say Jules because that's Chicago people say Jules.
Can you find the sugar cubes at the Jewel's?
Oh, I'm sure I could find it on Amazon.
All right. Well, try finding
The sugar cubes.
if my mom was still on the phone, I would put her on blast because she doesn't order stuff from Amazon, and try going to the Jewel's to get sugar cubes. And yet,
It's
guess what we
impossible, huh?
have at holidays is sugar cubes, which are probably from the 1990s, 80s.
That's
See,
okay.
no
Sugar doesn't go bad.
preservatives,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Sugar doesn't go
it's all
bad.
good. It's all good. But Teddy, I feel that your question, sugar cube
No,
question,
the-
had a
this is-
crescendo that Michael
here,
killed
yeah,
already.
but-
but let's try
yeah.
to build up this
One thing
more time.
Michael is good for is just keep talking. Michael, here is $1,000 question. If you get this right, I will give you $1,000 in pennies. The sugar cube was invented in Czech Republic. Name the town, spell it, and the year. Radka, I can't even pronounce that
See,
town.
it's not like pronounce it and spell it. Polasha cannot even read it. So-
Well, no, because I'm not.
Oh, hey, you guys, that's awesome. So the sugar cube was invented in Czech town of Dačice
Thank you.
in 1843. Dačice. Oh, Johnny, we have to put all these trivia questions onto this podcast because I'm sure that everyone now has to know. Not only that it was invented in Dačice in 1843, but now where can you buy one? Obviously, Jules doesn't have it.
You didn't give me you didn't give me a chance to answer.
Teddy, you didn't give him a chance.
You didn't give me a chance.
No.
How
You
did
knew
you
it.
know? No, you didn't. You gave her the piece of paper, and
See?
you said, "Spell it out."
Okay.
He probably
I
knew
could.
it.
It's possible that I knew that.
Okay. Okay. So double
One more
or no-
question.
So
One more question.
double or nothing.
$1,000 in pennies.
No, but here we go. The first part is one thing, but we're going to follow it up with the second question, which is the
Well,
double
actually,
bonus.
it's $2,000 in pennies.
But the first part is just to get the wine. The second part is the money part. Okay. So, the soft contact lenses were invented where?
Oh, Czech Republic.
Well, I got to tell you, Johnny B.
Oh, dear Lord.
You're
Should
supposed,
we
you're
do
supposed
that
to,
again?
You're supposed. There you go. Guys, this is too much fun. Actually, you're a little bit wrong because actually it was Czechoslovakia.
Oh, Czechoslovakia. Well,
Yeah, there you go. He's all over it now.
wait, what? Wait a second. Is there a supplemental?
Well, here we go.
Do you want the city?
Here we
It could
go.
still be. It could be Czech Republic.
Here we go. So
If he
Now.
could only read it.
now I know. So I'm going to slide the paper back over to Radka.
I'm not going to say it. I'm going to
The
wait for Mike to
Miss
guess.
Wonderful call.
Do we need to bring up Google Maps?
So real quick, I'm not going to ask you the city. Okay, so where was it? Where was it? The contact lenses invented?
It doesn't say.
No, just which country?
Well, it's possible it could be Czechoslovakia or Czech
Now.
Republic.
Name the inventor and the year. There it is. Johnny's on it. Oh, I love you, Johnny.
You're
It
full of
only took-
surprises.
it only
you
took
are,
4 tries.
You are full of surprises. I have no idea. I'm trying to find a loophole, but there is no loophole.
Right.
here.
Guys, I couldn't find any better time to start a trivia with Mike Dropka.
Mike, I think it turned out great.
Oh, this
You
is,
know, you said you could ask me Sokol trivia, and I'd school you.
No, I
you
don't-
you
no,
understand
That's-
that, right?
Well, that's why the
100%.
soft lenses. That's why the contacts. But
I got-
just to say, if I can pronounce this right, because it's a German name.
hold on, wait. Let him answer. See if can you answer this?
No, I can't.
Wah wah.
All right, so in 19... See you guys by our 50,000th episode. We'll get all the sound effects and all the things. 1961, Otto Victory.
Victory.
It starts with W, so it's a for sure German name. I don't even know how to pronounce
Okay,
that.
Mr. Trivia. I'm going to flip the script on you here real quick. No. We want to do trivia.
Guys, thank you
I
very
got
much
trivia.
for
No.
listening to the CCC's podcast.
The Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, Nobel Peace Prize. Who was that founded by? Nobel Peace Prize. World renowned, right? World renowned Nobel Peace Prize. Who was that founded by?
Do tell me.
Alfred Nobel.
It's called Nobel Prize for a reason.
Okay, and
What did he invent? Ironically enough.
let's see, Nobel Peace Prize.
I said ironically enough. What did Alfred Nobel invent?
TNT.
Ooh, very good. He wins.
$1,000 with the pennies.
Oh boy. You guys, this episode, I think not only we are over time, I think that we are over topic. But to close.
Yes, ma'am. So, guys, to everybody, to Missy, to Bubby, to Michael Dropka, guys, and to our listeners, thank you all for coming and tuning in to this wonderful Thanksgiving episode. Guys, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Please understand, this is the firefighter inside of me, to make sure that you guys have your smoke detectors that are working, that have smoke and CO detectors, so while you're cooking, they'll go off. But everybody have a safe and a wonderful holiday. Aratka to you and your family. Johnny, Bibi, Fran, you're wonderful. Thank you for all your volunteer work and all the things that you guys both do. And Michael, to you and your family for all the 80 plus years that your family has done for the community. Thank you very much.
And to all of our listeners and to our members and supporters, thank you. We are super grateful for all of you, for the opportunity to serve, to help, to better the community as is. We thank you and we are very thankful for you.
Yes.
So happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. And don't forget, it's not about how much you're making or what you're doing. It's about how you give and take care of one another and your community. So once again, to our wonderful listeners and to the Dropka family, thank you for all coming and listening. And Johnny, would you like to say a goodbye since you're just standing? No, he just shaking his head no. So God bless you guys. Happy Thanksgiving and stay safe.